Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. The Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, trend. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Rich. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel to cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and today is going to be absolutely awesome, guys, because we have Bitcoin above 111 for the first time in days. I mean, it's been over a week now since we had that downfall of August, right? The back end of August where we went negative, and now we are back in the positive. It does look like September is going to be good. We're going to be covering a lot of amazing stuff today. There's a lot of digital asset treasury companies, or DATs, that bought over the weekend. They buy the dip while retail sells into it. It's stupid, but this is how the game is played. There's nothing you can do. You got to be smarter as retail. You got to be smarter in a lot of different aspects. The one is don't sell to these whales. Stop it. And that's like the main thing. We're going to go over the CPI and PPI. I know we talk about it a lot, but I think this is truly important for the rate cuts. If we get that rate cut in September, or if we're forward looking at it on the 12th, on the 13th, we're going to have upward momentum that could take us to 140, in my opinion, for the month of September. What's that going to do? That's probably going to make Bitcoin dominance go up. Benjamin Cohen could be right, and he might, we might have a resurgence on Bitcoin dominance. But I think everyone knows what happens after that. A lot of that money will be flowing back into ETH, and then the large caps, small caps, so on and so on. This is market cycles, and this is what happens in the cycles, right? So really excited for that. I'm going to be covering the BRC 2.0 stuff. Yesterday we had one huge mint, and then everything else kind of boring. The Acorns guys, they got their token. They did like a pre-sale thing. We're going to talk about that from the Adrenals, I think they're called. I can never say that damn thing right. We're going to be covering some awesome stuff today. I can't wait. So let's just jump right into it. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up,
man? How you feeling today, bro?
I feel good. I feel refreshed. I feel reset. I do think the summer was up and down, and we're kind of finishing off the summer with this month, but I do feel refreshed. I feel like my mind is reset in the sense to where you got to get back to the basics sometimes, and you got to remember like how you became into the position that led you to be successful, whether that's a trader, whether that's your job, whatever you're doing. And sometimes you got to remember those simple kind of principles, right? Or things that you did, habits to kind of get you there. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm just observing the markets. The volatility was there over the summer, for alts specifically, right? And we did see some really strong pull-ups with Bitcoin and Ethereum, a little bit at the end with Solana. But I do think what we're going to go over today, a lot of, at least with the digital asset treasury companies, is going to be important to kind of see this like shift that's happening. WILFI is a part of that. There's a lot of institutional money coming over, and I do think the alt market's going to have opportunities, but it most likely is going to look different than what we're used to. But still, I think kind of getting back to the basics is important for me, at least, to kind of see and assess and say, okay, how is this different? How can I play into this opportunity?
100%. I agree 100%. So the thing is, everything evolves, right? And I feel like crypto is evolving now with this TradFi movement, with the digital asset treasury companies, with companies like WILFI Financial, right? World Liberty Financial, it's called, and it's probably going to be on stadiums, on jerseys. It's going to be everywhere. You're not going to be able to get around it. It's going to be probably one of the biggest banking institutions, because they're going after it first, right? They're the first ones to really kind of go after it. The other ones are going to have to catch up. We're talking JP Morgan's, everything else that down there, right? Wells Fargo, they're going to have to catch up later, while World Liberty Financial is just head and shoulders above everybody. That's what they're putting together. This is the early days of something truly special, in my opinion. And you have, the Trump family behind it. I mean, they made over $5 billion off the launch of this coin. Obviously, a lot of that's locked up and can't be touched for years and years and years. But over the course of the time, they're going to make a lot of money from this. But I think that's just the beginning. I think, that $5 billion is going to be, who knows, right? 500 billion one day, when the grandkids take it over and stuff like that. So, but we'll see. Let's jump into the first thing here. We're going to give you guys a quick TK update. So TK, Trench Kitty, is the mascot of OnChain Revolution. It is something that we did. If you don't know, we started it on Solana, and it was all about an experiment to kind of bring it over to Bitcoin. We opened up the bridge from RuneMine. It was successful, absolutely amazing. Saw over 40% get bridged over on day one. And then you see the bridge very active, which is awesome. Glad to see that. And then on top of that, we officially opened the staking vault. So we got 26.5
That's crazy
tokens staked. The reward right now. So right now, if you put in, let's just say $1 million, you're going to get 1.2 million back. So it's already that, but obviously we have a lot of days left. So this reward right here is being split between all the stakers, and it does look like it's 1 to 1.25 right now. So or 1.1 you're going to get back. So that's pretty amazing. I don't know if it's going to stay like this, but I think it's a great opportunity to get these TK tokens and have it locked to November, because I think we both can agree that November is going to be very bullish for crypto, and maybe hopefully runes. I mean, it better be for runes, right?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the top performing staking vaults too. So kudos to you guys, the community out there. You can see, I mean, if you compare it to something like the B balls on, I think that's Alkane's. They only got 49 million out of $1 billion. We are, more than a quarter of the way there, right? So it's definitely a great participation, and also, you don't really get to stake very often with meme coin. So I think it's really cool that you guys participated in this. Super happy to see that, and awesome. It's just awesome waking up to that, because yesterday or the day before it was at 2 million. To see it at 26 is awesome.
Yeah, and it's only been alive for about 24 hours right now. It does close in 7 days, 8 hours, which it looks like it's going to be next Tuesday night. So that's up to you guys. You guys want to participate? It's basically free TK for you guys. You guys are earning it from the lockup, and who knows what the price could be by then. But let's jump into some of the price for TK. We do have a bounce, man. We're climbing back up now, back up to 64,000. It's got all the way down to about 44,000, I want to say. I could be wrong, but could have been just 50. On its way back up, though, I am liking the opportunity here. I do think we get back to all-time highs within the next month or so, but we'll see. I think this is one of the stronger communities, honestly, and you know, we are a part of that as well. And then on the Bitcoin side, you are seeing 3 trades yesterday, which is awesome. 406 holders of this. Very early days, not a lot going on yet, but you're not seeing much from the actual runes themselves either. So really excited for TK. I mean, you see Dog down another 2%, and so on, so on. So just a couple. Oh wow, Rune World up a lot. Damn, what happened there?
That's
That's
a big
up
jump up.
900K. Good for Rune World. But yeah, man, I think you know, potentially TK could be that as well, but we'll see.
Yeah, and you have to remember too, Solana is 90% down in participation, and the people that are participating, it's just really kind of a seller's market right now. So, yeah, not anything that's, you know, in my opinion, to have too much anxiety about. You know, focus on building the community. That is the biggest thing. You know, if you haven't followed the TKX account, go follow it and join the community and tell people about it. That's basically what you can do right at this point. And then, you know, hang with us on Chain Revolution and learn about the space and how we're navigating along with many of you through these kind of up and down times leading into what should be the most bullish time of the year. And we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, and if you do have some TK, lock them up. Lock them up, guys.
Love it, dude. I love that meme right now. It's hilarious.
Yeah, log them up. And also we are giving away 300,000 TK, so if you do win, you can go stake that. I have this empty. I'm going to be collecting names throughout the show, so if you are just joining the show, please put your Twitter handle if you're not using Twitter, and put a TK, and if you do that, I will lock you in to the wheel, and we'll do the wheel spin probably about an hour and a half from about an hour and 20 minutes from right now, and you guys can get your TK and go stake it. But yeah. But let's get into some stuff for today. We're gonna get into today's main topic, which is WILFI shakes crypto, ETH crash below 4K potentially. BNB massive institutional backing. So the first part of this is the Trump family wealth jumped by about 5 billion after launching WILFI token via their crypto project World Liberty. Trump's 3 sons are co-founders, while he is an honorary co-founder. So let's kind of get into this. WILFI community has proposed allocating 100% of the protocol-owned liquidity, the POL, fees to open market buybacks and permanent burns of the WLFI token, aiming to reduce circulating supply. So what does this mean? You know, when they take their USD1 token over to Solana and pair that with WILFI, there is fees that they get, sometimes 1%, 2%, depending on they actually make the choice, right? Every trade is, you know, they get a percentage of every single trade. And they're saying the rewards, they're going to buy back the WILFI token and burn it every single day. I mean, just yesterday alone, we saw about, you know, $2 or $3 million in volume. That's potentially $30,000. If it's 1%, burned from circulation every single day. I mean, this could be the most deflationary token ever.
Absolutely. You know, especially whenever volume increases and people become more and more aware of the token and the entity in itself, that's looking to change the way our financial system works, right? They are a big part of this. You know, there's obviously a pretty strong connection with WILFI and the current administration just because of the Trump name and the family. But you got to remember, they got debanked in the previous, you know, past 10 years, right? Because of just political reasons. And so what for them, they want to be a part of this new financial system that makes sure that doesn't happen to people just based on their political beliefs or whatever, how you feel, right? So with that being said, I mentioned this, I think yesterday or the day before or like last week, that I believe WILFI is going to be an institution that's heavily recognized mainstream wise eventually here in the next couple years, 2 to 4 or 5 years, to where you're going to see them sponsor football games at halftime and stuff like that, right? Because they're going to have an array of products. They're going to have, you know, consulting. They're going to have borrowing, lending, fund management, all types of stuff. In my opinion, I could be wrong, completely wrong from that, but they have their own wallet. They created their own wallet for a reason. You know, the wallet is like the bank account, right? So what is happening right now is you're starting to see TradFi kind of merge with the digital asset space to create this new financial system, but that takes obviously time and preparation and so the current way of doing things is getting a little ruffled. And when I say that, I mean the way that we look at the alt market, the way that, you know, it's no longer just an instant, you know, trickle down from Bitcoin to Ethereum, from Ethereum to the next, you know, 10 blue chips from there to mid caps to the higher risk and stuff like that. Will there be a risk on environment? Yes, but it, you know, we need the rate cuts, we need QE to start happening, but it might not be the same risk on environment we saw before, and it might actually take some more research and maybe not so much risk on so many mid to micro caps, but there will be some definitely winners that come out of those areas, in my opinion. But it's definitely, we're going through a change right now is basically what I'm trying to say. I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm realizing that it's something that is going to take time, and I got to pay a lot of attention to it.
100%. Yeah, I agree. And I do think that WILFI is kind of the easiest bet, because like what are they building, right? Well, the first thing they're building, first thing that pops in my head right here is they're building a WILFI app. What is this app going to be able to do? Well, the app's going to be a wallet, a built-in wallet, right? Where you're going to be able to deposit real money into not that's all real money. You're gonna deposit, you know, US dollars into this. They're immediately going to give you USD1 on the other side, so your bank account will be filled with USD1. On top of that, potentially you're going to get direct deposit, being able to get paid right into USD1 as well. And then they're going to have a lend and borrow, supply digital assets and borrow against your holdings, all on this app, which is a wallet. And then you're going to be able to go into USD1 or probably go back to your bank in US dollars. But if you're able to pay all your bills in USD1 through something like this app, you might not ever have to go back to dollars ever again. And how do they make money from that? Well, they take your dollars and they buy treasury bonds, and they earn 3 to 4 to 5% yield depending on which bonds they buy. So they're earning money. This whole thing is just, this is going to be one of the biggest companies in crypto, backed by the president of the United States and his 3 sons. And just Justin Sun is one of the biggest holders, received 600 million, WILFI worth $145 million, 20% of the first unlocked. Justin Sun owns 20% of all the locked coins. And we know Justin Sun does not sell anything. The guy doesn't sell. All of his Bitcoin is out there earning yield. All of his Tron tokens are earning yield. Everything he owns is earning yield. This is what he does. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, this is not like a, you know, an official plan or anything like that. But I was listening to someone, I think it's Financial Boffins on TikTok, really educated guy, talking about how the initial plan to cut debt down for the U.S. government didn't work, right? And it was because just some of the strategies, just at the end of the day, it would put the country through way more stress in terms of recession than initially thought. And so the approach of utilizing stable coins to be able to get the interest back into treasury bonds is an actual strategy that, you know, seems to be playing out right in front of our eyes, right? And WILFI having USD1, a big part of that, but so does Circle with USDC, and the American version of the Tether stablecoin, and any stablecoin that's going to be a part of this capitalistic market of stablecoins in the US. What does that do? Well, you know, seems to be the rule is going to be you got to back these stable coins in the Genius Act by either the US dollar or treasury bonds. And what that will do is create more demand for treasury bonds. Because right now, as we've seen, the Fed, you know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever they went to the auction, ain't nobody no buyers. You know what I mean? No buyers, and they're like, jack it up, jack up the interest rates. Then we'll start looking. But you don't want to do that, because the U.S. will then have to increase their interest payments for these treasury bonds, which will go against trying to pay down debt and all these things. So, what a perfect plan to be able to utilize the digital asset space, to utilize stable coins, because it's global. And it looks even better when you have someone that's a foreign entity like Justin Sun coming in and holding, you know, a large amount of this WILFI token, but also supporting USD1, support in getting into that, like, you know, saying, oh, you know, this is good for the space, because on a global aspect, this can really expedite, you know, if it works, being able to pay off that debt in terms of planning from theory, it sounds good.
Yeah, and Justin Sun is an American citizen now, right? He holds one of the
Gold
famous
card,
gold
baby.
cards, which is like what, $2-3 million. So I don't know. I love everything about this. Total USD1 now on Tron is 50 million. So USD1's a baby, bro. Like this thing is tiny, and they're going to be getting a whole bunch more cash in, which is going to earn them more yield. I think you're going to see $1 billion in USD1 in the next couple months. I think now that they're up and they're running and their wallet's coming soon and their lending's coming soon, you're going to be able to basically get USD1 for your Bitcoin, right? You're going to be able to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm truly excited about USD1 in the sense of, that's one of their products, but it's probably going to be their biggest. Dude, everything about World Liberty Financial has me bullish. So let's take a look at the crypto market caps. So it is huge market cap right now. It's about $5.4 billion. 15 billion in full the whole entire supply. But if they're burning and you have Justin Sun holding a ton of it and the team's going to hold a ton of it because they believe in themselves, dude, I think this thing can get to, I don't know, 50 billion this cycle, 70 billion this cycle, and then long term $200 billion, being up there as one of the biggest companies in the world behind the tech leaders.
Yeah, I mean, well, because it's a perfect mix. It's like fintech, right? It's like the new version of fintech, and so, especially being that first emerging, mixed hybrid of Web 2 and Web 3, being that large, trying to establish himself as that largest institution, that's formidable and very strong brand growth and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, they have all the opportunity in the world. I mean, people might complain and say, well, the reason why they're in the position they are is because it doesn't matter. They are in the position they are in, right? And so it doesn't matter how they got there or whatever. The thing is, I think that like traditional TradFi people are going to be really trying to get connected here, and then there's going to be a second one and a third one that start to kind of try to form over time. Maybe the next 2 to 5 years, we'll see, 3 large institutions that are really kind of dominating the space. But, the stablecoin approach, I think is really, first of all, smart. And you also get support from just around the world with that. And so we're going to see how it can help, even the smallest people in the space, though. That's something I think that's important. There has to be opportunity for bottom up here. And we're not seeing that yet because we're starting to see how these products are being formed, how the financial system's going to be here. Because I do think it's going to drastically change. I personally think it's going to drastically change. Do memes go away completely? No, I don't think so. But also, it's going to be very much more selective in terms of that.
100%. The best part of this, though, is you're seeing the volume of this. I think it was what circulating supply. Where's the 24-hour volume of this? Okay, it was. What's that? $3 billion in volume? That's crazy. Is that right?
What?
Wow.
What?
I'm trying to find the volume of WILFI here for the 24 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty high. I mean, it was a very.
Is that
high...
right? 3 billion?
Yeah, across all places. So
yeah,
and don't be shocked if they end up in the Bitcoin ecosystem as well, right? We know that they're on Ethereum and Solana now, right? Both of those places,
and BNB
and BNB. And once the Bitcoin ecosystem becomes more solidified, there's a stable coin and borrowing and lending and all that stuff. Don't be shocked if they end up in the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. I'm just saying.
I'd be shocked. I
wouldn't.
We can't even choose a damn token standard yet.
yeah, but like you have the likes of Tether over in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I get it. It's kind of standalone. I guess like they run RGB, but still they're there though. Like why waste your time? Why waste your time? Why is Tether wasting their time? That in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
I think it's just
borrowing and lending probably.
Yeah.
Having a stable option.
If Spark is successful, I think a lot of it goes to Spark. Honestly, I think USD1 could be on Spark, Lightning Network. I could see that for sure. I don't see it as a Rune.
Not anything. Yeah. So I agree with you 1,000% on that last statement. None of those, because they're not they're not solidified yet, right? They're fragile still. Like a complete, they're not even established. Like they're not fully complete. You know what I mean? But yeah, something like Spark, that if they do, you know, come out and they have a kind of like end-to-end like actual environment, you know what I mean, that seems solidified, that's a place they could go. Or I don't know about Arch is, you know, keeps pushing back. We'll see. But I see where your hesitation is coming from. I definitely understand it.
It's just, yeah, I mean, you know, and the other day I was using a Phantom wallet and I end up losing a whole bunch of like runes because I was stupid, but it's all good. I tried doing a Magic Eden. I tried doing what's that called when you cut the UTXO,
split it,
and it paid gas fees in my rune.
Oh my
It wasn't
gosh.
a lot. I didn't lose a lot, but still enough to be annoyed from it. So this is where we're still at, right? Phantom wallet hasn't even which was probably my fault. It's all good. Next part of this though is Benjamin Cowen. Now that Ethereum has run the prior all-time highs in August, I think ETH will drop back to the 21. So we did get some bullish stuff with WILFI. Let's get into some bearish stuff with my man Benjamin Cowen, who I always feel always has to come in, and he's just the guy at the party who just stabs your balloon, right? He just pops your balloon. He's just never he's always but he's always right. So he is saying that, you know, now that ETH has run to a prior all-time highs, I think ETH will drop back to 21 moving average, which is this green line right here, I believe. He says a lot of people will get upset with this idea, but this has been the plan since ETH went home in April. As you can see, ETH did go home in April here and then has had an insane run up. He is saying this resistance line here, we touched it once, we have to come back down, touch it again, and then come back down and break it again. He's not actually predicting an all-time high, a new all-time high for ETH until 2026. What do you think about this?
Wow. I just can't see that. I can't see that. Like, if that's the case, then, you know, the Q4 plans of having any type of like, you know, alt market run up go out the window. I think like you can't have Ethereum below 4,900 while you know, everything is just pulling up hyper aggressively. It just doesn't make sense. So I think I'm pretty confident that like he's going to be wrong with that. You know, even if we get like a 6,000 ETH or a 5,500 ETH, like that's, I think you got to hit like some sort of like hyperdrive to the upside at some point. And that would be actually, even 5,500 would be a pretty, I think, letdown. Depending on where we're coming back from too, right? So does ETH drop here? I think this is going to be the most important moment for Ethereum, because look, I respect the heck out of Benjamin Cowen. He's, you know, he's very good at forecasting. He's very good at using a lot of these tools in his bag, you know, to be able to see, you know, how certain, you know, sectors or specific coins will react to Bitcoin. And it's always reacting to Bitcoin is his way. That's his style, right? And so, but for me, you know, getting below 4,000, I think that's possible if we do retrace. But you have to remember too, was the institutional purchasing, the institutional bullishness, was it all facade? Was it all just for show? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think, you know, Tom Lee's putting his kind of name out there, you know, to call this. So I think he's going to be wrong in that aspect, right? I think we see an all-time high before the end of this year, and I actually see ETH, you know, I think ETH not getting to at least like a $6,000, $6,500 mark before the end of the year would be a big disappointment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's calling for us to kind of drop down to 34, pop back up to 49, drop back down to 39 before we go after that's 5,000, which I think Benjamin Cowen is somebody who's right in the bear market, dead on, but he's somebody who's also very wrong in the bull run. He's a very TradFi minded guy. He was doing a lot of these charting stuff before Bitcoin even existed. He's taken that and put this over here. And I feel like a lot of TradFi guys don't understand momentum when it comes to crypto and how much money is sitting in stable coins that are ready to pump this stuff, and how much DATs, digital asset treasury companies, are sitting there buying this up. I do think that he'll be wrong for the next 6 months, but then when bear market comes back, in May, June of next year, potentially, I do feel like potentially he's going to be right again. So I'm going to be ignoring him in a bull run, paying attention to him in a bear run, and I do think he's wrong here. Is that safe to say that we both agree that he's wrong on this one?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that he's been wrong this entire year, right? Like,
no, he's been right this entire year. No, I said in a bear market. So I don't feel like we're in a bull market at all yet. I feel like we're about to enter one.
Yeah.
But I think that potentially he's been right since 2022.
Yeah. No. Okay. So this is how I feel about it. I think that like he's been right for the first half of this year. You know what I mean? And I think the second half, like the one thing that he
Ethereum,
got,
though.
that's the thing I was going to say. The one thing he hit the nail on the head was Ethereum going home and bouncing out of there, right? But I think you and I were at that in the beginning of this year, we were really kind of locked into the Bitcoin ecosystem, like what's happening, what are we doing, like what's moving around, and it was trying to figure that part out. We didn't realize how oversold Ethereum was the first 4 months. Right. I mean, if you just look at a weekly, monthly chart, it was extremely oversold, getting back down to 1,800, 1,700, 1,800. Yeah. Right. And so
1,300, dude.
1,300 wick down there. Oh my God. Yeah. So with that being said, like in whenever everybody's beating something up, you lose confidence in it yourself. Right. You just hear about it constantly. And that's what happened with Ethereum. But then the way it bounced back in he called that right. But where I think that like he's not taking into account, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I think he's been doing this kind of in-depth charting and research lot longer than I have. But where I think he could be wrong is he's not taking into account the amount of institutional support that Ethereum gets, that has been getting for the past 4 months. I feel like, right? Whether that's SharpLink starting everything, it has more treasury companies than Bitcoin. I've stated this before in the show. It passed it, I want to say like 2 months ago or a month ago, to where now I think it has about 4 or 5 more treasury companies than Bitcoin has. Meaning that these treasury companies, they buy not to flip in December. They buy to hold for long-term, stake, earn, and then when they see it cheap, they start to salivate, right? Because they want to add to that, because it's a long-term play for them. If they see it at 3,900, they're going to jump on it. I believe that truly. And why didn't they do it in the first 4 months? Because everybody was, including Tom Lee and his company, were bullish and buying up Bitcoin. Bitcoin was still the star of the show until that flipped. And once that flipped, Ethereum got the spotlight. Now, does some of the spotlight go back to Bitcoin? I do think so, because Bitcoin did get pretty cheap, 108. I think it got to 107 most recently. And if we're talking about targets of 150 to 175 to finish the year, yes, of course. Like I do think people are buying Bitcoin at cheaper prices and things like that, but it doesn't mean that they're going to sell down their Ethereum all the way, like to crush it. There's, I still think Tom Lee, I don't think Tom Lee pivots. I think Tom Lee has come into made the decision for that, what he calls the macro play of the decade.
And that is Ethereum. Yeah,
exactly. So
100%. All right. Let's kind of get into the next thing here, which is the digital asset treasury time, or that time. It's that time. We're gonna get into that. It's probably going to be something we do once a week, because it's a lot. For the first one, which is part of our title here, which is CEA Industries, they're on the Nasdaq as BNC, announced the purchase of an additional 38,888 BNB tokens. Guys, BNB, every one of these is valued over $800, approximately $33 million of this. So this actually, the stock jumped up super high here. BNB getting the love it deserves. I mean, it is something us in the West do not talk about enough. It is potentially one of the dominant chains right there with Ethereum and Solana. And you can probably throw base into that as well. But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this? And this is apparently just the beginning of BNB treasury companies. They're apparently coming in hot right now.
Yeah. Not surprised, expected them to be one of the next, right? And this is a big deal, because you have to understand, this is not an American, made cryptocurrency. It's you know, whether they're based out of Singapore or wherever their paperwork says, it's not US based. And so when you have a Nasdaq traded company creating a DAT for it, that means that there's a lot of trust built up there. There's a reason, you know, other TradFi's getting bullish on it. That's why I think we are in this new era of DATs, right? The season of DATs. Do I think it's going to be the be all end all? Not necessarily. Also, you know, the more DATs that form, the more support you get, right? Obviously, because they're purchasing up the token, which, you know, gives that financial support in terms of keeping the token up and going up, right? But I do think this is big, and we do need to pay more attention to it, because now American companies, or at least companies that are not necessarily American, but they're trading in the American stock market, are purchasing them up, right? Meaning that they feel confident enough to do this. And so BNB to me is definitely one that's been overlooked, but I don't think it stays overlooked. And also, I think crypto does something here in the next 10 to 15 years that's already kind of started to happen in terms of like globalization, not in the old way. I'm talking about like English is spoken in very many more countries now. I think companies are going to be looked at more of like from a global perspective. Can you trust them and all these things, right? And crypto is the perfect kind of industry to kind of put the bow on that, right? And BNB will be a big company that's successful in the near and long term.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I think BNB 100% right. So the next one is if the Ether machine raised $654 million in ETH. So let me say this again. The Ether machine raised $654 million in ETH to grow its treasury ahead of Nasdaq listing this year. I mean, these guys are just, people are just giving them ETH right now. I don't know if, I guess for some of this stock that they're going to be doing an IPO type style with a SPAC, right? And they're raising money in Ethereum. I think that is absolutely massive.
Yeah. Interesting. Whether they, you know, converted stable into ETH or they got it directly, you know, I think it's they're getting it prepared, right? To have this IPO, which there's interesting strategy that's starting to form. It's a get crypto ready before you get your IPO, whether that's, you know, Kraken, you know, will determine down the road if it was smart or not for them to integrate runes or, you know, have these type of, I think it was because they at least got users, right? But, you know, being digital asset ready in terms of, you know, value adds, you know, more users, more treasury, and then going IPO it seems to be this new strategy for TradFi, you know, that wants to mess around in our space, right? So I'm bullish of that, because now they're you know, trying to prepare themselves in the best way possible. And for them, it was to show, hey, we have $650 million worth of Ethereum, right? So they are assuming that is going to get investors, traditional investors, bullish on them as a company because they hold that much ETH. Which, if you trickle that logic down, then why would you not be bullish, extra bullish on ETH, right? And that's what keeps me kind of in that boat a little bit on the opposite side of Cowen, kind of saying that, you know, ETH is possibly going to see a big gut punch and not see an all-time high until 2026. I just don't see that.
Yeah, 100%. And then the next two actually pushed it even further. I mean, ETHZilla announced it will deploy 100 million worth of ETH into EtherFi, a liquid restaking protocol to boost treasury yields. The company holds 102,000 ETH, valued around 456 million. So they're taking that ETH now and they're putting in something like EtherFi, which is a liquid restaking protocol, which is going to give them a liquid version of that ETH that's going to earn yield. I mean, this is insane. The way ETH is built, I understand people, the maxis don't like proof of stake, blah, 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 right? None of that matters anymore, because this is a financial tool for these companies to make insane amount of money coming in as ETH. This is massive. This is absolutely massive.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, boosting treasury yields is something that's just like, for them, that's an extra cherry on top, right? Because they're already staking it and stuff like that. Now this gives an extra boost. Now, I think that you got to be careful, right? Because you know, one thing that the crypto space was really good at last cycle was kind of creating value out of thin air, right? But the difference is
This isn't though.
exactly the difference is that these are TradFi companies that know that there's a lot to risk if you try to play that style game. So there has to be substance to what you're earning, and it seems like that's what they figured out here. How many people follow this strategy though? I would imagine as many people that can, until that opportunity kind of gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right?
Yeah, I mean, liquid restaking. I mean, you're taking your liquid token and you're staking it again. Where that yield cut is coming from, you're right. That
Lido.
is where. Well, Lido is this liquid staking, and then you have a liquid restaking where you can stake the liquid token. Right? But normally, what happens though, you'll stake that liquid token, you'll earn another token. Right.
And then
they'll keep your rewards, your ETH rewards, and that's coming from thin air. Right. So we're going to see a lot of these come up, to your point of money being made out of thin air, and where the greed, like staking it on the Ethereum protocol or staking it using something like Lido, that's fine. But when you take your liquid stake asset you get from Lido and restake it to earn another token, that's when you're
so that's what I was kind of hinting to earlier. But,
I got it. Yeah.
But where I think this could be solidified up in is like when regulators kind of come and do their job, right? They ask questions and say, okay, well, cool, this sounds like a awesome idea, but where does this yield come from? Where does this yield come from? And I think there has to be a point to where like you have to have a solid answer to where that stops at some point, and you have to say it comes from revenue from this or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, there is like Curve does this. You earn the Curve token. You stake your Lido, then you can earn the Curve token, right? And the Curve token is revenue driven, right, by the revenue of the company or the revenue of the decentralized protocol. So there is ways to kind of show that yield, but where does that end and how much risky you're gonna get? Can you know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. But this is the perfect opportunity to integrate like the revenue sharing model, and it would be different than than TradFi. I forgot what they're called in TradFi. Whenever you give the it's like a bonus every time. It's kind of like dividends. Yeah, because dividends are based on kind of like extra, like hitting goals and all these things. So where like the dividend it's not complete revenue sharing, and obviously you got to take into account expenditures and stuff like that, the companies and things, right? So, but there could be a model that is actually legitimized in terms of like a revenue sharing yield kind of give back to holders that is, for the holder, you know what I mean? To where, and I think that maybe we see that, maybe we don't, but we'll see. There's more and more talk of that, though. I know that for sure. Even with like partners and stuff that we've heard it from, revenue sharing, I think is going to be a big part of the future.
100%. And it already kind of is, right? When you hold a governance token, you can stake that governance token and earn yield from the platforms. You can already kind of do that now. So
Hyperliquid was doing a form of it, right? But like, when does that stop? When is it, you know what I mean? So like details and stuff are important. Hyperliquid has shown that flywheel has been pretty damn good to sustain a price, especially after a huge airdrop and all that stuff. So
100%. SharpLink acquired 39,000 ETH at an average price of $4,500, bringing total ETH holdings to 837,000, valued at 3.6 billion. Since June, the company has received 2,318 ETH staking rewards, and then I'm just going to add this in here too. Strategy has acquired 4,000 Bitcoin for 449 million at an average price of 110,000 per Bitcoin, and has achieved Bitcoin yield of 25%. How the fudge are they doing getting Bitcoin yield? I have no idea. That's probably some bullshit. Like, I don't know. As of 9/1, Strategy holds 636. So you have SharpLink, you have ETHZilla, you have ETH Machine, and you have something like Strategy. They're all going after the tokens that they desire the most. And this is that Treasury stuff. I mean, this is over the course of the last 4 days. I just read 5 of the most bullish articles I've ever read on crypto.
Yeah, but from not the traditional approach for the everyday kind of trader, right? I mean, it is bullish for them too, but like you have to absorb the information, kind of like what Stan is saying right now. He sees this as being bullish. I see you in the chat there, but it's like at the highest, like a high level, right? It's like very like institutional driven. How does this affect, you know, new opportunities that might be a little bit higher in terms of ceiling of being able to gain? And we're gonna find that out, I think, here in the next couple months, because there's gonna be this DAT is not gonna stop, and I think this is a part of like your fear. At the time, we didn't know it was necessarily DATs. Well, I guess we did, because they were a treasury company for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We thought it was more of like the late entrance for Bitcoin, and that could still be the case. But I think it's going to be the DATs that get risky on new projects that just fall through because their product isn't successful, or you know, they aren't able to drive attention to them even with a DAT. And how far does that go down the risk curve, and how many people that trade publicly on the Nasdaq are willing to go? How far are they willing to go down? You know what I mean? Because I could see them doing this for Sui, I could see them doing this for, you know, but then could you see them doing this for something like, I don't know, like Bell's chain? You know, probably not, right?
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, where's that? Like, where does it stop? And that's going to be very interesting, because they're the ones that are going to be playing with fire versus the retail investors.
You know, 100%. And then the last one, which is Clean Core Solutions, has completed the $170 million private placement to establish an official Dogecoin treasury backed by the Dogecoin family and houses. I thought you were going to hit it. You almost said it when you were talking about when you went to Bells, but this is obviously a fork of Doge, right? Which is Bells, or like coin or whatever you want to call it. But what do you think, dude? Dogecoin,
and we know that they're willing to go that far.
The game. I mean, that's the top meme. It'll always be the top meme, right? I don't think anyone's ever gonna be able to pass Dogecoin. It's the the Bitcoin of meme coins. But now this is the final one here, the DAT of the weekend. Cleaning it all off with some Dogecoin treasury.
Yeah, and look, it seems like they had to put up a little bit of trust collateral or something, because they're saying right here, backed by the Dogecoin Foundation, House of Doge. So they probably had to show, how much value that they hold, and say, hey, look, man, if you guys believe in us, or believe in this token, we'll back it, basically back you guys if you create this DAT. And that's, they can show how much Doge they have. Maybe they have like $500 million worth of Doge. I don't know what the foundation has. But
the foundation has billions.
Yeah, exactly, right. So then, like, that becomes easier for Clean Core, at that point, because they're like, okay, all right, you're gonna back us now. So now it comes into like, okay, who has the strong foundations? Like, you know what I mean? Like we know Sui Foundation is pretty solid. XRP Foundation is pretty solid. So this is a very interesting kind of this is not our typical topics that we talk a lot about, right? But it is definitely something that I think it's important to learn about and know and keep up to date, like which tokens are getting actually publicly traded companies forming treasuries, because that is a statement to the entire industry and the world. Hey, we're going to buy this token up with this much money, and it's going to be a part of our treasury.
Yep, and that will include DAT time. Maybe we'll do this every Tuesday. Maybe we'll do some DAT time. But yeah, let's move along though. Let's get into the crypto fear and greed. So last week we're at 43. Yesterday we're at 39. We're exactly where we were yesterday.
39.
39. I feel like we should be a lot higher than this. I gotta find somebody has to create a fear and greed that is time moving, because right now with Bitcoin just under 111, Ethereum at 43. Damn, Ethereum went red on the day.
Fudge. Yeah, it did. Sure did. Yep, it flipped.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if any news came out there or what, but
check my trade. So right now I have a trade open on Artura.finance. I have an ETH long, and I might have went too heavy with my leverage. So let's kind of say, oh, I'm down $25, down 17% on my long here. I put about $140 in there. It's piston size was $3,500, so not looking good for my trade. But this is Artura.finance. But the best part about it, even if I lose, I technically win, right? Because when I win, I'm winning the biggest airdrop ever from the Botonics Foundation, and on top of that, potentially some points. Well, I know I'm getting points, but that could potentially turn into a token as well from Artura. So I am actually air farming. Even if I lose this trade, I'll still be smiling because I feel like I'm gonna make out like a bandit. And speaking of Artura, the next segment here is Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura.finance, they are on Botonics. We already talked about it. Botonics' biggest airdrop, Bitcoin airdrop. You're actually getting Bitcoin for using the chain. I'm gonna repeat that. You're getting Bitcoin for using the Botonics chain. Artura is the #1 DApp over there, in my opinion. You can now go over to Artura and actually get their badge. You go to 2100 A Bitcoin World. We have a full tutorial if you guys want to get started with that. And you can actually claim the badge, the Artura badge. So definitely something you want to get. And that is how you're potentially going to get some of those airdrops as well from the Botonics team. So go over there now. Go check out Artura.finance. And remember, today at 2 p.m., we're going to have the great guys from Artura join us in a second live stream. Yes, we're going to go live again at 2 p.m. Eastern time, right after our show, about an hour after our show. And we're going to be covering a lot of what is going on in the charts and stuff like that from someone like Marion, who's been, in this stuff for a very, very long time, kind of get their opinions on a lot of stuff that's happening over the next couple of weeks. So really excited for that. Tune in 1 hour and 1 hour and 2 hours and 10 minutes from right now. But that's brought to you guys by Artura.finance.
Absolutely, guys. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on the X side. Let's share this space. Let's get it going, guys. Let's get that energy going. Also on the abstract side, if you could share this stream, greatly appreciate it. Same thing with Twitch, Kick, and Spotify. And don't forget Rumble. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. Bitcoin's looking better than Ethereum, but it's also seeming like it's wanting to turn around. Man, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like a perfect setup leading into like the middle of September, because we do know rate cuts are coming, but maybe people are just so tired of being back and forth. Will a rate cut come? Will it not? But even though we're sitting at I think an 85% chance still on Polymarket, I got to check that and see if it changed recently. But let's take a look here. It's been up and down for Bitcoin, but like mostly up actually. If you kind of look here, so it did a little bit of the opposite of what I thought yesterday was going to happen. You see on Sunday night, the late hours of Sunday night, early Monday morning, it wicked down to 107 and then started to work its way up overnight, pulled back, and it's been kind of just volatile, man. It got almost all the way back to 106. So it did kind of play out the way I thought. Okay, that sounds more like it there. So yesterday it did end up bouncing back down, and then the second half, or I guess last night, it kind of creeped back up. So I guess the nights are better to take along for Bitcoin, but this is where we are now. So the hour chart, what does it look like? It looks like we are starting to exhaust the MACD, meaning buy momentum seems to be getting exhausted here, right? This is really volatile because you can see there was a strong red sell momentum that came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it just flipped really quick for Bitcoin. The stochastics looks like it was a fake out to the oversold territory just to head back to overbought. Now I think we start to curl back down, but it's just been, the volatility has just been flip-flopping back and forth, man. That's kind of the story, I feel like, of this year. Yes, we did have consistency in June, July, and the early part of August. But, man, it reminds me of the beginning of this year whenever we couldn't decide if Bitcoin wanted to be hyper aggressive or not. Let's see what happens here for the support and resistance for where we are currently, going back to 4 a.m., the 110,700. So it looks like we're getting some buy bids, but this area is dominated by the resistance, guys. Low volume, though, low volume. So that's what can push it up, is huge buy bids, pushing it up, getting us to these higher levels right here at the 110,867. We're definitely a lot stronger on the support side. Above that, strength is still there for support. It's balanced back out at the highest volume area of this whole range. And so, we get some large buy bids to push us past this 110, 740 area, and then we could kind of work our way back up into the 111s. But it doesn't look good, at least for the MACD momentum indicator. Let's see what's happening below. We have support. Below, we have support. We have support, and this is a high volume area, so it looks like it's going to be tough for us to get below 110. 320. So I don't know. It's really tricky. I'm getting a lot of mixed information from indicators and kind of, what's happening in this war that we're at the 110, 680s, the high 600 level at the 110, high 600 level is kind of back and forth. But again, like I said, not much volume. So this, if we get some strong buy bids, could push us up. So I'm not too worried, but I am curious of how the MACD is going to play out here, though. Do we kind of hang around here? We have the support below, and we have an advantage a bit above. So do we end up working back up and getting back into buy pressure for the MACD? We're gonna have to kind of wait and see here, because it's really hard for me to kind of see what exactly is happening here. If I were to say, though, we look in decent shape, and this looks a little misleading on the MACD. So we'll see here in the next 2, 4, 6, 8 hours what ends up playing out. But we could kind of break back up and stay up here on the stochastics in the overbought territory, and then break back up and show some strong buy momentum on the MACD for Bitcoin at least. And that's for the hour chart. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart actually shows that, this could be a possibility, what I just explained. Even though that 1-hour chart looked really messy, but it did show that we're showing strength kind of where we are right now. And the 4-hour chart is actually showing us that, hey, we're still pretty strong. So if we can manage to break up on that 1-hour time frame that I showed you before, we could have a continuation on this 4-hour chart. So that's going to be interesting. We definitely need to see how this 1-hour chart plays out before we can determine if we have this continuation here, and then this will pop back up. So actually not looking as bad as I initially thought on for Bitcoin on the hour chart and the 4-hour chart. Let's see what happens on the daily. Daily looks like it's about time for us to pull out of this muck. Right, it's been we've been down and oversold for since the 20th of August, right? So you're talking about a lot of days here. We haven't bounced out of here, but it looks like the fast line on Bitcoin looks like it wants to break out and up. Take us out of being in oversold into at least heading towards the overbought territory. And this is starting to form here, but I don't want to jump the gun too quickly here, but it does look like this sell pressure is exhausting on the daily. So we could see something happen here for Bitcoin. We could see, and that kind of plays into what Benjamin Cowen is saying, right? If this plays out, we could see something like 115 by maybe Thursday or something like that. If it does play out, and then finally get back into buy pressure. We haven't had a really strong buy pressure run since, if you want to go back, the last couple of days was at the end, mid to late July, and then we went into some sell pressure here on the daily chart. And yeah, this existed here in the beginning of August, but yeah, that's when we tagged that 124, but it didn't last long, right? If you're honest, you could say that the sell pressure has really been dominating since you go back to that late July time frame there. All right, let's take a look here at Ethereum on the hour chart for the day. Ethereum does not look good. Ethereum looks worse than Bitcoin. So kind of what Benjamin Cowen has been saying too, but this is just for today. Let's see if this can bounce out of here. If Bitcoin is really strong to the upside, it's gonna be important to watch how Ethereum reacts to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to, it comes out of that hour chart that I mentioned earlier, that opportunity of kind of looking kind of like mixed data, but the 4 hours saying, hey, we can have this continuation of buy pressure, and it comes out and it gets us towards the 115 area. Let's just say that starts to happen. How does Ethereum react to that? Does it kind of slowly tail it like it did previous to its aggressive push-ups in June, July, or does it follow it very closely, which would be a good sign for Ethereum, or does it speed race past it? I don't think option 3 is on the table right now, just because like I do agree with Benjamin Cohen in the sense that it is probably Bitcoin's time to shine a little bit more. And so hoping for like option 2, right? It's kind of just tailing it, you know, at a good rate, not slowly tailing it, kind of delayed how it used to be. Because then if Bitcoin gets to 115 and then all of a sudden it crashes to 110, Ethereum is going to crash even harder if that's the case. So we got to see how Ethereum reacts to Bitcoin's pull up here. If it does end up, in fact, heading back to 115, does it kind of do it at a consistent, you know, decent pace? That will be a good sign in my opinion. But until we see what happens with that for the rest of today, it doesn't look great for Ethereum. You know, you see this the MACD's kind of pulling back down, and you see us kind of stop right in the middle of trying to head back to overbought territory. Let's take a look at the daily. It's not going to look good in my opinion, and it doesn't. Yeah, it looks way, and this is another reason why I think, like, you know, I agree with Benjamin Cohen with Bitcoin, because if you remember Bitcoin's daily chart, the sell pressure was exhausting. It was like it was ready to come out. We're behind that right now. So, you know, Ethereum's trying to finish, like, get to a point to where we can even see any exhaustion. We're below 4,300 right now as well. So I would say be a bit patient with Ethereum. Don't jump the gun and say, okay, Bitcoin looks like it's going to head up, let me take a quick long. I would definitely look at the behavior of Ethereum reacting to a bullish Bitcoin first, and before you make any decision, because this daily needs to start exhausting here, guys. It needs to start exhausting before you think of anything, in my personal opinion. But that's what I got for Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys. The alt market is looking, you know, it doesn't look horrible, right? It's probably about 65%, maybe 60% green, 40% red. But some notables here, obviously, WILFI had a big day yesterday, but it pulled back here about 14%. You see Kronos token is down 6.1%. You got SPX. I think it's the largest meme coin on. Well, it's actually on. It is on Solana, but this is something that you and I figured out. This actually started on Ethereum. I didn't realize that, but it is pulled back 4%. Something to kind of check out here is Farcoin is up 3.2%. So that's a good sign.
Really good sign.
Yeah, when Farcoin is up, that's good. Pump is up 6.3%. So that's a decent sign here. You know, some of these these memes on Solana are benefiting here. WIF is up 2.3%. One thing right here, you see Ethereum down 1.4% there. Pith up, or sorry, down 3.9%. So that's still down. XRP up. So there's a lot of mixed signs in here. XRP up 1%. Weird. Ethereum down 1.4%. Like what's going on here? So just a lot of mixed data. You know, so just, I would say, you know, be a little bit patient. You know, don't feel like you have to rush into anything right now. At least that's how I'm looking at it. So that is the crypto bubbles for the top 100. In the top 200, anything that sticks out here, our guy Courtney Johnson, he probably went in today 9.5%. ZBCN is up here. Zora bouncing back finally, because it had been red for a while, is up 5.2% there. You see Beam with a pretty big win here at 9.5%. White up 10.3%. And then SNEC is down 1.5%. Is the largest meme coin on Cardano there. FTT back in the green, 0.9% there. And where's our dog go to the moon at? I don't see it. Did it bounce out? It bounced out of the top 200? No.
Damn, no way. It might have, honestly. It's down bad.
Is it? Okay. I'm just curious if it did, though. That's crazy if it did.
You can type in dog.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Duh. Nope. Oh, yes. 204. 204, guys. It is up. Is it? No, it's down 0.2%. Wow. Yeah. Bounced out of the top 200 there. But yeah, that's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the crypto bubbles.
Yeah, man. So not looking great. I was really hoping for a very bullish day today. It is not, but I am expecting us to kind of go up until 4 o'clock today. I do think when the traders get back to their desk, they're going to do what they did at 9:30, which was take it up. And then as you see 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, you're having downtrend. So I do think going back into that 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock area when traders get back to their desk, I do see some bullish momentum coming back. So we will see. We will see. But let's kind of get into some roll call here. So roll call is, if you don't know, we just go into the comments. So every day we make sure we get to every single comment. So don't worry. A lot of people think that we don't get the comments. We always get to the comments. That is during roll call. And what we do is take a first is first here. So, and the first is first right now is Hillbilly. Congratulations. You have that first comment of the day. Congratulations to you, my friend. Always killing it like normal. And that is it. Let's kind of get into the other comments here. Arita is here, my guy. He says, does anyone know how to unlock the OG passes from the Traverse Vault? I have to DM with them. I got to check if they responded back, but I'm going to get into that. I promise. A lot of you guys did have your OG passes in the Traverse Vault. We told you guys for months and months and months before they closed down to get it out, but there is a way to get in. We'll make sure we get that for you guys. Chief Axel is here. Shout out to Chief Axel. Bitcoin is Truth is here, my guy. He says, okay, added you. Vader time. He said it's time to get bullish. Spindrift is here, my guy. Patty Poo, sup, the Bitcoin machine himself. Tim Baker, AOD Art, legendary one there. Nighthawk says, GM fellas. Mr. Yagobi, I heard the rerun of TK Space. Can't wait for the next one. So you did have a space over the weekend. It was a holiday weekend, so really you couldn't really expect too many people there. But how'd that go?
Yeah, so exactly like that, right? Everybody was kind of probably at a cookout or just, at a get together or something like that. So not a huge show out, but it's okay. I used it as an opportunity to kind of educate about the staking vaults, right? So that was the biggest thing. And obviously it worked maybe because we got a lot of people staking. So that was cool to do there. And shout out for the people that did show up and stuff like that. We'll see maybe if we get enough interest and participation, I'll let you guys know possibly if there's one in the future.
100%. We got Pro Crypto. He says RWLD going up. Yeah, dude, $1 million. That's crazy. That thing was sitting at like 120K for the longest time. Congratulations to holders of that. Congratulations to you, Pro Crypto. Legendary one right there. Cash Cats is here. Shout out to Cash Cats. He's a coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. The legendary Cash Cats is here every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. Question from Stan. He says, how did Justin Sun get WorldFi pre-sale with 75 million? He finagled his way in everything. Do I need to go all in on Tron, Dosi Do, Bitcoin? I did add you to that, but so I think from my knowledge, they reached out to him and they said, hey, you're an American citizen now with the gold card. Would you like to invest in WorldFi? And he said, how much can I buy? They limited him. He wanted more. So he bought, with the 75 million, I think he already doubled his money. So he has 125 million dollars of that, but that's nothing for him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he attends all those dinners too that was in Washington and all those things that I'm sure there's some sort of pre-sale opportunity at those places. So he's a billionaire, right? So when you have $1 billion, you can get early into pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, and this is just one of the projects that he's got in. He gets into everything, right? He has his own firm where they invest, right? He gets in. He's one of the biggest VCs in the business. So this is just another day for what he does. Myself says thoughts on Rune Zero Uncommon Goods. Trash. Don't buy it until next year. What do you think? Or until 2024?
Yeah, I'm not sure, how to view Rune Zero and runes in general right now. Casey obviously created this protocol, but how much involvement is he gonna be, in terms of advancing it? Here's a big difference, right? Casey was crypto person of 2023, I think, by I forgot what magazine it was, but it was Consensus, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so big year for him, big year for Bitcoin ecosystem. But when you compare Vitalik's involvement of creating EVM and with his team and stuff, is always to advance it, to make it better. And I feel like Casey didn't have that same mentality. You know what I mean? It's how do you make runes better, for what it needs to be? And it's almost kind of was the whole motive just to kind of push BRC-20s out of the picture, or was it,
Probably.
you know what I mean? So And Vitalik was never like, oh, whenever it's busy, I'm going to show up again. From what my understanding, maybe I'm wrong, but him and the foundation was constantly trying to figure out how to make like an AMM and all these things, and you know what I mean. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I think common goods is something that's paid attention to, and just not this cycle. I think it'll be something potentially next cycle. So got to remember,
the mechanics are built into that too. The burning mechanics. So that's a good thing with that one.
Hydro Sapiens says GM. Let's go, my guy. Appreciate you here. I added you as well. We had Simpson says listening to you guys makes me see you guys as alter egos of each other. We didn't even argue today. I mean, there's days when we go at it, but definitely doesn't today. But I get what you're saying. Stan says the Trumps are taking no prisoners. I am pushing harder into the DeFi sector. I am surprised Coinbase listed WorldFi seems to be a direct competitor. No, not at all. So Coinbase is an exchange and an investing firm, Coinbase Ventures, and WorldFi is a stablecoin provider, an app, and a DeFi protocol. One is on TradFi and one is in DeFi. So completely different, Stan. Completely different, buddy.
I think they'll have some products that cross over, but they from a fundamental standpoint, they are not direct competitors. But at the same time, Coinbase is, in my opinion, going to support them for sure. Well, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna list them as soon as possible. Like you have to remember, like the name is there, and the name, it matters. Like if WorldFi came out and it didn't have the name attached to it, you think Justin Sun would be holding that much? Do you think like these people would be like? There's a reason why there's so much attention and support, and they will get a ton of support, a ton of continued support in the industry.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And with Donald Trump as, potential founder of this, right? Honorary founder, like we talked about earlier. I mean, this is going to the moon. There's no stopping WorldFi. Simpson says again, sometimes you both come off as alter egos of each other. Yeah, man, I guess so. I don't know what an alter ego is. Isn't that?
I think he's saying like probably because like sometimes I'm like more like calm, and then your energy is higher, and then sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's like opposites. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is what he's getting at. I think.
All right.
Who's Jekyll? I was kidding.
Tim Baker says, $Do you think $1 billion cat gets listed? So whatever happened with that? Remember they were teasing this crap. I don't think they got the response from the first 4 that they were expecting, so I don't know if they're listening.
Or maybe the timing's not good. I think they get listed eventually.
I don't know. So the market cap right now is 7 million.
Yeah. I mean, if Kraken continually, is on this thing, which they posted,
they stopped.
Did they? I thought
they posted.
I thought they put Runes Timber.
Did they?
I think so.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, Kraken yesterday, I think, posted Runes Timber. Let me make sure that I didn't see that with my.
Could be wrong. Could be right.
Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe someone. Oh no, September 1st, Rune Timber, right there. But 1.8, so 1,800 likes. I mean, yeah. If they continually support Runes, then $1 billion cat gets up there. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, that's news to me. I didn't realize that. Myself said, search Justin Sun, buy my shitcoin. I don't know. I will. I'll search that later. I promise. Stan says, probably the only DeFi platform that will not get hacked. Can you imagine the U.S. military? Yeah, seriously. If WorldFi got hacked, bro, you're gonna have
it's over.
You're gonna have CIA at your door in like the matter of an hour.
Would that be good? That would obviously not be good for markets. Of course, it'd be like meltdown. But would it scare other hackers?
I don't think hackers have the balls to go after this one.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, we'll go after. I don't know, because hackers don't attack Tron. Like you never see a hack on Tron.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if that's like a technical thing or whatever. Yeah. Like but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they have the cojones to even attempt it, because like they know that, like, you know, intelligence would be all over them. They would be found out like in so quick.
You don't do that. Yeah. Seamson says, speaking about Bitcoin ecosystem, do you guys still have any atom of hope in fractal Bitcoin? Like myself, a part of me reckons that we could see some interest again after the bull season. And so my answer is no. The problem is they went to the route of doing the Bitcoin mining route, right? Where what is that called when they're mining Bitcoin
Merge mining.
at the same time? Merge mining. To where, you know, you're basically using the same hash power Bitcoin has for fractal. And then when you saw the larger miners come into this, what they do, they get these tokens and they immediately send them to an exchange and dump for it, and they buy Bitcoin with it, right? So as long as there's sell pressure for the FB token, there will be no ecosystem there, because it all depends on that number one token of the ecosystem. And for them, it's FB. FB will eventually go to pennies. And I think it's like 30 cents now, but I think it goes to like a penny because they just keep dumping. There's no reason to hold that token because the miners don't see it as legitimate. Same thing with the NAT token. As soon as the miners realize they have it, they're going to dump it for pennies on the dollar. If it's worth, 8,000 and someone says, hey, we'll give you 4,000 for it, they're going to take it because to them it's free money.
I think if they would have formed like a separate mining community, like from Fresh, it would have been a little bit different. But whenever you merge mine with people that are mining Bitcoin, that's already their thought process anyways, is to like turn everything into either Bitcoin or cash. That's it. Like they don't,
100%.
There's no other mentality for them. That's it. You know what I mean? Bitcoin or cash. That's the two options. And so, yeah, I mean, but the only hope I would say is if they, possibly, if Dogecoin's talking about possibly switching to proof of stake. So if Fractal does that, then that could, but that goes against a lot of their thesis of being basically, this Bitcoin, scaled solution that just mimics exactly what Bitcoin is. You know what I mean?
100%.
But who cares if if it saves your chain and that's what you want to do, then you might have to just do it.
Yep. Stan says Cosmos. Yeah, I don't see Cosmos. They got some stuff over there. They got Say, they got Injective and stuff like that. But I don't think Cosmos is going to be doing anything anytime soon. If that's what you meant, Joko, I got you on there, buddy. Patty Poo, left translated cycle makes him ready to get.
Dude,
so a left translated cycle.
What happened with that?
Can't have that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
we used to talk about it all the time.
It wasn't him, was it?
Yes, it was him
Cowen?
and Bob Lucas. Right?
Yeah, because that was a 2024 thing, wasn't it?
Well, it had to peak in June, I think. No, you might have been right. It might have been 2024. I don't remember.
Yeah. At the end
we
of the
should
year.
We should look into it because that was a big part of our show back then.
Yeah.
Talking about the right and the left hand.
There was two options. There was one that ends at the end of 2024, and then we didn't get the 2025 bull market year, which that went out the window. Yep. I mean, kind of halfway. Like Bitcoin hit new all-time highs with Ethereum.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah. And then the other option, I think you're right. It like kind of just like ended before like Q4 of this year. That would be absolutely nuts if that happened.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see that.
All right, get to the next comment here. Patty Poo says, correction, right translated cycle would make him right. So he was saying it's either going to be a left or a right. So he was saying it's not going to be a normal cycle. So yeah, I mean, you're right there. It definitely could be if that's the case. Erdrick says decent BRC 2.0 mint out for 5. Yeah, we're gonna go over that in a few minutes here. Media Solution says warm congratulations for the team at London Stock Exchange. What? I'm not really sure what you mean there, buddy. Patty Poo says Pi cycle top indicator has Bitcoin topping January 2027. That would make it very similar to what happened in 2017. Wait, no, that's a year later.
That's 2 years.
That's 2 years. That would be nuts. And then what? We have a one bear market year before we get bullish again going into 2028. I don't know.
I don't even know what the cycle is going to look like. It's already kind of weird. It's very weird this year. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure. All right. We have Make Bitcoin Fun Again is here. Stan says, are ETH treasuries the most active in crypto? The ETH treasuries make a good case
right now.
Yeah, right now. I mean, Dogecoin once could come out of nowhere as
Or
well.
stole, but like,
Yeah.
so you have to remember Bitcoin was the most active for the first 4 months of this year, 5 months maybe. Probably 5 months, because then it started to really start to pick up for ETH treasuries once like SharpLink started it all. Oh, there was probably a small other couple, and then SharpLink was the big one in the news all the time. And then Tom Lee really changed the game, in my opinion, for ETH treasuries because and then that's whenever they started forming left and right. But they are the most active as of right now. I mean, Bitcoin's still pretty active. And we'll see if that kind of switches back a little bit, maybe back to Bitcoin. But I don't know if there's going to be a next one as active as both of these were. But maybe if it goes down that route to where like more and more like Sol, I think they have like 1 to 3. BNB just got their first one. Sonic is flirting with one. Dogecoin you just mentioned. But I don't think it's as easy as like Bitcoin and Ethereum make it seem to be to get these to trust in to be able to, but we'll see, because if we do go on risk on, though, if we go in a risk on environment, then we'll probably see some more come in.
100%. Yeah, man. Dogs on air is my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Mike Self says GameFi was hot BSC last cycle. Yeah, I mean, we know a guy who made over $1 billion and then lost it from the GameFi BSC area. Stan says the ETH flywheel is insane. These treasuries, yeah, man. We'll see if it continues. Patty Boo says MSTR could potentially be added to the S&P. So they already are on the S&P. I think you mean Robinhood. Robinhood is looking to get on the S&P this weekend. So Myself says we all know how much attention a Doge can get. That's why I'm stacking Doginals. Ugh. Don't do that.
So you hate it. So I have DRC20s from a long time ago, and I just checked on them after I read that comment. But the problem with these, I didn't realize this, but when Counterparty was around and they had their tokens, Doge actually had their version of Counterparty. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, Jake told us during a meeting once. And so for me, like BRC20s have to have a really strong comeback for the DRC20s to come out. But the Doginals, the art Doginals, then those could hit when ordinals do well. So
yeah, 100%. Patty Poo says Bull Moon doesn't start again until this Sunday. Ooh, that's actually good for next week. And we got somewhere. Oh, we have a Twitch commenter. Said, "Are you rich yet?" No, not at all. Tanbra CV says, "Okay, I'm gonna add you. I'll make sure I add you for sure." It looks like you added 2 names.
3, 4, 5.
I'll add them both. I don't care. 1+ added. Here's TK. Let's go. Paulie says 2025 launches have been exciting, but for some reason the tokenomics are lackluster. What does he mean?
Just they're not exciting, like the tokenomics part, right?
Gotcha.
They're not really impactful.
Yeah. Merlin's Lucky is here. My guy, appreciate you. Tambra is here as well. He says, please, is there a hope for SBR, Vine, and GF? No.
If you need that much hope, then probably not a good.
Is there any hope left?
What's SBR? Isn't that the
Solana
strategic reserve?
Yeah, strategic reserve. Something. No, I'll get out of them.
I mean, Vine is probably the one that has like any shot, just because Russ is active with partnering with X, and Vine is going to be an AI product, but it's sitting at 64 million. So out of those, what was the last one they posted in there? And GFFM, yeah. So I'd probably say Vine probably has the only chance, but you're still gambling hard. $64 million meme token for Vine.
Gambling hard for sure. Tons of comments today, guys. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. Absolutely awesome. I have to add like 10 more names to it now, but I appreciate every single one of you guys, man. And I will be doing the wheel very soon. But we do have a few more topics to kind of get into here. So this guy Yenni, somebody that we both read separately, which I thought was kind of funny. He says the total number of on-chain traders on Solana are down 90%. Do we see a recovery? What do you think, Yagobi? And this is why stuff like, all those other tokens that you just mentioned are doing really bad. Solana traders, I mean, this is probably every chain, honestly. But we're just showing that it's been down since the beginning of January. Just down only. Do we see a recovery here? And if so, when?
I don't think we see a recovery until something fundamentally changes. But
Yeah.
I don't know if look, the biggest winners out of everybody is obviously is the launch pads, right? So whoever's in the first place makes all the money, right? Like, so Pump Fund right now is back in first, but because the way that the system is right now creates the most volume possible.
Yeah.
Obviously the traders are down, but like the way that it works is that all these hundreds of thousands of tokens are being listed. They're making so much off of the liquidity pools, the launch pads. They don't want to necessarily, it doesn't benefit them necessarily to trade or change out the way it works, meaning, find out a way to mitigate these sniper bots, found out a way to mitigate the bundling, so you can see if they're legit holder counts, find a way to do all these things, because they make the most money that way, right? And then so basically they're winning. The 1 to 200 people that are using advanced tools and the best sniper bot traders are winning, and then the coin deployers teams bundlers are winning. The 3 people are winning, and retailer traders are losing immensely, and hence the 90% decrease from the top, because back then it was a lot easier, right? And then you have the likes of Orangey and Cupsy and all these people kind of giving the blueprint on how to bundle tokens and how to do all these things, and it's basically just creates a black hole for a lot of retail users.
100%. All right. We'll go to the next thing here. So the Solana DEX volume hit 144 billion in August, back levels, but this is a lot of TradFi money. So we're seeing the traders kind of die off, but the volume is still there. Isn't that weird?
What, the Solana DEX volume?
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
about.
So that's what I'm talking about, though. It's like so basically, I think you had a lot of these traders that were kind of, okay, like if I hold this token, it seems like a strong community, they seem legitimate. That trader is gone, right? But the ones that are still there, they're the retailers that are getting beat all the time. They might hit a win 1 out of every like 10 and stuff like that. They are still like addicted to this kind of way of doing things, and I think that's what's creating a lot of this volume. So why would the launch pads want to switch it up? They're making.
I don't think it's those traders doing this much volume, though. I think this is institutions. This is all institutions. I mean, 144 billion in August. I mean, that's 90% institutions.
Yeah, but then you're talking about tokens like Yeezy. You're talking about tokens like WILFI. You're talking about tokens that are doing like huge billions in volume, right, on a daily basis. But I do think that like the Pump Fund and launch pads are making the most money that they can make, because they if not, then they would trade, they would mitigate, they would change up the way it works, or try to at least.
Well, some money better than none money. They're all making money, so that's the only thing it comes down to.
But these people, I feel like the Alons and stuff, they want every bit that they can get. I mean, I feel like that's how they work, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's true. Gemini announced its IPO plan to offer 16,666,667 Class A shares at $17 each, aiming to list on the Nasdaq under the symbol GEMI. Goldman Sachs and Citigroup led the offering. What do you think about Gemini, the WLFI? Are coming to TradFi right now with their chain. With their exchange.
Yeah, I expected this. They kind of, I'm sure their legacy comes from that anyways, like with their family, like just those type of investment type of environment.
Old money for
sure.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So this was probably all all along their plan. They've dealt with these type of IPO situations too with Facebook. I know that they weren't directly involved, but
Well,
they
got
weren't
money later.
Yeah, exactly. But they know what goes on in this
Yeah.
kind of stuff is what I'm saying, right?
They're advisors. They got some of the best advisors.
Exactly, right. So no shock there. And also they don't play the dirty degen games and stuff like that, right? They're very, blue chips. What's the potential of these? There's backing. I'm sure it's not easy to get listed on Gemini, and there's a lot of research going into it. So to me, they're kind of like the old school ones, the mentality of those two guys, right? But I'm sure that they could win over a lot of TradFi firms and fund managers, right? To buy into this. So
100%. Hong Kong listed Yunfeng Financial, affiliated with Alibaba, co-founder Jack Ma. Ma has purchased a 10,000 ETH. So this is a Chinese company now, buying up ETH. Can this be considered a DAT, right? But they're not on the stock exchange, so I didn't want to put them in there. But what do you think about this? Jack Ma's people now buying Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of maybe like the Asian version of it, right? Or kind of standalone a situation, right? Like I'm sure that they'll put it in their I don't know if this is a new company. It's Hong Kong listed. So so this is
that's kind of my
yeah. So this is just their version of a DAT.
Would you consider that still a DAT, even though it's not listed on the US stuff?
Yeah, the Chinese.
By definition,
they're buying $44 million worth of ETH. At the end of the day, that's the whole thing. Like, how much are they buying of actual Ethereum and not on paper and making the price move? That's where I think DATs come in as like beneficial to the
100%,
at least.
The next thing here is your boy Gavin Newsom. He is saying
Donald Trump.
Listening.
We'll see how well your coin does versus our. The real prediction is, we're about to put a meme coin out, and you know what, Donald Trump. We'll see how well your coin does versus our coin.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's like I hope he does. I hope he does it on Solana. I hope he does it on Solana because, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like the Trump organization, like the Trump media and the financial side too, right? Like they have connections on every chain. I'm sure that they're really well connected on Solana, and I think this is a huge mistake by him because I think what's going to happen is it might pump some and then dump real hard. But they'll find a way to try to turn it around and be like, this is exactly why we are against it, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think they even launch it, man. I don't think he has the courage to do it.
Poor Gavin. He's
poor Gavin. I'll never feel bad for it.
He's about to make a huge mistake, and he has no idea what he's in for. They're gonna snipe the shit out of it, and they're gonna dump it to zero.
But that's what I'm thinking too.
All right. So yesterday we had the launch of BRC 2.0. Man, I didn't even see a spark. I mean, you want to call this a launch? This thing was an electric nothing burger, in my opinions. But we did have one token mint out. That token is GameFi. Me and you both minted it out of fun. It did feel like those old days again where we're minting BRC
for that specific token.
But then let's talk about, so when we got it, we never got an inscription like we normally did, right? There was nothing in our wallets, but then later they upgraded it, and now you can see that I'm holding the few thousand GameFi tokens here. Their market cap right now is 335K. Acorns did their airdrop this morning. Acorns was the first BRC 2.0 token, but they grabbed the whole mint and then airdropped it to holders here, sitting at about 12 million. What do you think so far about BRC 2.0, and was it bad or was it good? Like, what do you think?
I mean, it wasn't anything. It was one token that minted out, so everybody for some reason must have heard something about that token specifically, unless it was the first one available. I probably don't expect anything to be connected to it. I don't know, but I don't know. I hate whenever these Bitcoin meta protocols do this. You know, they say on September 17th is whenever they're going to have the AMM with liquidity pools and all these things. And for me, just launch it then. Like, why not launch it all at the same time? Every single one does this, though. I brought up Alkane's did it, where you had to trade the old way. BRC-20, the swap did it, the pizza fractal did it, and now BRC 2.0 is doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me because you see the past responses to these type of launches, and they're no good. They're never good. Like, what's the point? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
To me, this was a big nothing burger. Nothing about it was good. Nothing about it was bad. Just absolutely just nothing here. We do want to have the guys from Best in Slot on. Maybe they can kind of get us excited. But like, to me, I felt like I wasted too much time. I got to my computer right as the block happened, and nothing. It was absolutely nothing. It was I feel let down a little bit. I feel let down a little bit.
Yeah. You know, but like, again, like, just maybe don't even announce anything. If you're going to let people mint, then just let people mint. And then on the 17th, announce that. I feel like that would be like ideal, but I don't know. Now I'm kind of wondering what the 17th is going to be like, if they even have what they, I mean, look, I think they do. I don't think, you know, Binary, I've heard him in spaces. Seems like a legit guy, and so we'll see what they come out with here. But you know, right now there's I think them, Spark, Runes, and then you have Alkanes, like, and no one's really impressing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, no one is really impressing at this point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But it does look like that's our show here. I'm gonna finish this wheel up. Do you have anything to go over real quickly? While it's just a few more names.
Yeah, let me see what I can pull up here. Dude,
you love that Mario soundtrack, bro.
I know, it's just always in my brain whenever I'm looking for something. All right, let's go through. Let's go through some of this coin market cap. I just want to see some of these blue chips. I know this is kind of basic stuff, but see how they're doing here. Man, look at the last hour, man. So everything's pretty much in the top 10. It's going to be hard to get down like large percentages, just because like I feel like these market caps are so big. But you can see the biggest ones taking hits right now is Ethereum, down almost 0.7% in the last hour. Tron down 0.38%. You got XRP down almost a full percent here, actually over a full percent. So you see those two kind of like, today's just not a good day, or at least like the last hour. You even look back to the 7-day, man. Bitcoin and Solana are the only up in the past week in the top 10. Bitcoin's up 1%, Solana up 4.5%. Everything else is red. Yeah. So it's not looking too great right now for a lot of these tokens in our market, but September's never been a super great month, right? I guess that's pretty much what the trend has been. Let me pull up kind of the month over month one more time chart, so we can kind of get some insight and see what to expect possibly for the rest of September. I'll pull this up. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, for me personally, I am really just kind of waiting for us to get through this lull period. You know, paying attention as much as possible, but that's about it. Not making any big major moves or nothing like that. I feel like sometimes it's best just to do nothing and observe. All right, let's take a look here, guys. Monthly returns. All right, so far September not bad. Just the second day of September for Bitcoin at least, but you know, you go back to the bull market years. 2021 pulled back 7% there. 2017 pulled back 7%, but those could have been green for the first half and then finished the month that way. But you know, one thing I've been saying consistently is that this year is anything but typical And if you do kind of even look at 2025 to something compared to 2021, yeah, I mean, it's just spaced out differently, right? You can see 2021 was red for November and December and September, green for August, but was red for August this year. You go back to 17, same thing, right? It was green for August, red for September. So do we kind of flip flop here for Bitcoin? That could happen, you know. The only out of 2021 and 2017, 2025 matches, I guess, more closely up with 2017. As you can see, the spring and summer months were pretty green for both, right? But the flip flopping of August and September definitely could be a thing here. So we'll see. And if that's the case, then ETH might get that first or not first, but well, actually, yeah, no, it was red in 2021 and 2017 too. So September probably going to follow the same trend that it did for Ethereum in 2021 and 2017. How bad? I'm not sure. But I do expect it to recover in these later months. And that's where I'm kind of going against Benjamin Cowen, because I do think we hit an all-time high in these months. Because look, man, there's no way you're going to be this oversold to start the year. And it was definitely oversold. Getting down to wicking down to 1,300, in these months at some point, to see just a barrage of red again, to finish the year, it doesn't make much sense to me. Taking a maybe a red month in September along with 3 or 2 out of the 3 green months to finish the year makes the most sense to me. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. And then again, like to kind of finish that last segment that Shizzy brought up with the Hong Kong Treasury company buying $44 million in ETH. Why would I think, it's becoming more and more popular for Treasury companies to be more popping up for Ethereum? Why would I expect there to be a bloody, last quarter? I just don't.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's jump over to the wheel of names. I got it all set up. It all looks good. So let me show my screen here one last time. And let's give this thing a quick shuffle. All right, let's give it a spin. It's freezing up here. All right, we're good now.
Dang, big name there.
Dude, 2 days in a row, bro.
It's because you pronounced his name the other way.
I know. Now he's going to win every single day now, man. Congratulations. I do have your address. I'm just going to send it to that same address I sent yesterday or this morning. So you won. Congratulations to you. I'm going to remove you off here. Give it a couple more shuffles. Spin again. Dogs on air. Congratulations to you, my friend.
Congrats.
Guys, we're doing giveaways every single day. So if you do want to win and be a winner of the day, this is an opportunity for you guys, man. So I'm going to spin it again. And when you guys do get this, you can go stake on fluidtokens.com as well. Spin Drift Crypto. Congratulations to you, my friend.
Congrats.
So the winners, again, are Dogs on Air, Seamson, and Spin Drift Crypto. Congratulations to each and every one of you guys, man. Really appreciate you guys coming in here and playing every single day. But that's our show. Great show today, guys. We have 153 people on X, 35 people on Trench Kitty X, 124 people on Twitch. Shout out to the Twitch community building heavily over there. And then 115 on the YouTube. Appreciate every single one of you guys, man. It means so much to us. So you come in every single day and watch the show.
Absolutely, man. Without you guys, we could not do this. We're so appreciative. We love to do this every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. But also without our partners, we couldn't do it. And if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome because you always do help us out here. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Bitcoin runes or alkanes, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because they will give you Amber points, and Amber points are an XP point system that are going to go towards a give back for early adopters of the platform, guys. So super exciting stuff from their team to kind of do a give back like that. But the best way to earn these points to kind of get started is connecting your wallet for the very first time. You get 1,000 Amber points, and then every transaction from that point on, you will get more Amber points. So they are an aggregator, so they're going to find the cheapest and most liquid tokens. So utilize their DEX, and then you'll earn these points, right? Also, they are still, I thought they were going to close their beta test group, but I got confirmation from the CEO today. They are still leaving that door open. So if you want to be a part of their beta test group, go follow them on X at Sats Terminal, and then message them and let them know, hey, we want to be a part of your beta test group to test out the borrowing and lending product platform. And they will get you guys connected. So make sure you go and do that. And speaking of that, we're going to have Stan on tomorrow. We'll go all over Hong Kong, Bitcoin, and then also the new borrowing and lending product, because that is what everybody wants, supposedly. All the institutions, they want a place to be able to borrow against their Bitcoin. Head over to satsterminal.com to learn more today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You can actually jump your Bitcoin ordinals, your Taproot wizards right now from Bitcoin layer 1 to Ethereum, and you can take a loan out against them on the Gandhi NFT borrowing and lending platform on Ethereum. I'm sure they're going to open up to more collections, and the Emblem Vault team will open up to more chains in the near future as well. But speaking of other chains, they actually have the best AI product on the Solana blockchain called Agent Hustle. You can use Agent Hustle to guide you through the trenches of Solana. Ask it simple questions like, hey, give me some good solid 2 to 5x plays. He'll bring back a couple of those for you and reasons why he thinks that these are good plays. Also, you can use them as a conditional trading agent. You can say, buy some Farcoin when it pulls back 20%. And then sell it when I'm up 100%. And there's going to be more and more features as time goes on. There's communities forming. So get connected with their Discord. I think Soul Maverick is a big X account that is got his community together. They're winning together, utilizing Hustle as a main tool to drive them towards more wins, guys. You definitely want to take advantage of that. Also, it is a paid subscription. They have different tiers. You can still use it for the free option, but you don't get to use all the tool sets there. And then you can see kind of the tiers there if you go to agenthustle.ai. Was it agenthustle.ai? And then you click on the subscription there. But yeah, super exciting stuff, guys. They also have another product called migrate.fund, which it's basically a migration platform. If you launched on Pump Fund or another launchpad and you want to migrate to another launchpad, they will guide you through that and help you get that all sorted and situated. All of the revenue from this, or not all, but a good portion is going to be integrated into Hustle with the token as well. So really cool stuff from their team. But yeah, you can definitely utilize them if you're trying to migrate to manage your own LP or trying to migrate to a new launchpad. And then don't forget, they have their Bitcoin Rune, which is their Emblem Founder Vaults. And then you can actually purchase a pre-sale right now on OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vault Keys, you can purchase one of these ERC-721 NFTs. And once Bitcoin gets to block 915,000, these will actually open up. It's already timed for that block, and you will get your Bitcoin wallet with your Bitcoin runes in them. Super exciting stuff from this team. Head over to emblem.vision to learn more today. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Soon you're going to be able to trade Bitcoin fungible tokens on Artura.finance, like Dog Go to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, Ordi, Sats, whatever is in demand, they're going to add from the community, right? Whatever the community wants there. Also, they're going to be adding synthetic derivatives like, TradFi stocks. An example would be MicroStrategy and Coinbase. And so super excited once they add all of those new tickers to their perps and leverage platform. But guys, you can actually earn points towards a give back to early adopters as well. The biggest multiplier of points is adding liquidity to their vaults. And then also you can earn points by just making regular trades. As you saw, Shizzy made his trade there. He doesn't care that he's losing because he's getting points, right? And then also they're going to be, not them, but Botanic's team is going to track what you're doing on their chain. So you can kind of double dip and earn points because Botanix is going to be giving back an airdrop of BTC to their early adopters as well. So head over to Artura.finance today and make sure you join our new show with them, The Trader's Edge, episode 3, today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Should be a fun one there. Head over to Artura.finance to learn more. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that is building for the best UI and UX. They support Bitcoin, Cardano, and now Sui. They're actually going through a Sui spaces. It's kind of like how we did with the Bitcoin Blast. So make sure you're following them on X so you can catch that and get educated on the builders that are going to be in Sui and Bitcoin, right? And so if you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Play Store, download the application. Let us know what you think. You can trade for runes as they partner with SAS Terminal. You can trade for Cardano tokens and Sui tokens. They have aggregators that they partnered with there. And then you'll find in a YouTube section there, you can find our channel and other YouTubers that cover the crypto space there. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of AI. They're going to have their AI and they're renaming it, calling it the Wizard version 2.0. And what that's going to have is cross-chain swaps. You can have Merlin Bitcoin in your wallet, and you can swap for tokens in Solana, BNB, and other chains that are very popular. Also, you can, get information cross-chain as well. Give me the top 10 wallets for Fartcoin. The Wizard will bring that back to you. So you definitely want to take advantage of this AI product as well. And then also you can participate in the proof of stake security system that Merlin has. There's 3 different options. First is the staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. This is becoming more and more popular, guys. There's some big people that are paying attention to this, but it doesn't last forever. It closes September 30th, but I'm sure they're going to have another product offering after that, but we'll wait and see what Jeff and his team has to say about that. But if you do lock it up, it does lock until September 30th. Just know that 16% on average APR, exciting stuff there. And then 2 options for the Merlin Chain token. The first one is the flexible day-to-day. It is a 15% APR, but you can actually claim your rewards every single day and compound interest those rewards. If you do withdraw, there is a 7-day cooldown period, so just know that. And then there is the 6-month option, which is called the bonded option, and you earn 45% APR. Same thing, you can claim your rewards every single day and do compound interest there. And of course, 6-day lockup with that. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn about what they got going on there. And lastly is Ordinal Hive. Ordinal Hive is the fastest ordinal marketplace in the entire market. If you sell your ordinal, if you buy it, you get it right away. You don't have to wait for the block time there. They are working on the Bitcoin getting directly to the seller as well. But they did extend their mint date to September 4th. So just to kind of give you guys an update, and then follow them on X as well, so you can learn about the Hive token as well. Really cool stuff. They have trader tools on their platform, guys, and they are the fastest marketplace in the ordinal market. But you want to take advantage of the trader tools, live mempool insights, stuff like that gives you an edge there. And we appreciate you guys for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, and if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering into the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. New article dropping tomorrow as well. Definitely check that out. But right now we got the September rate cuts. This is really important, guys, because I want to go over it today, but we just kind of ran out of time. We'll go over it tomorrow about what to look for with the jobs number this week, with the CPI next week, the PPI. These are 3 major benefactors kind of going into the fact that we're probably going to get a rate cut. I'm really, really bullish on that. If you guys need a VPN, highly recommend Nord. It's my personal favorite, right? Absolutely awesome. It's $3 a month. You can't beat it. Do not go to these websites, guys. Do not go to these websites with your IP hanging out. You don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. You're giving away your home address when you go to these sites. It's dangerous, guys. Do not do it. Have a VPN. Set it to wherever, right? And the VPN also will allow you to use stuff like Hyperliquid, like MEXC, stuff that they block you because of your location. And that's not fair, because we live in a borderless society now called the internet. And having a VPN makes you feel that way. So definitely get one today. And if you guys need merch for events or just kind of lounge around at home, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. Check everything out here. Brand new Trench Kitty hoodie just in. I gotta buy this today because I keep forgetting. But I want this. Hoodie season is coming. My favorite time of the year. Football and hoodies. So you're going to rock a Trench Kitty shirt as well. But we really appreciate you guys. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out in 1 hour as well. But until 1 hour from now,
Peace.
Market recap. You're not bullish enough. You're not bullish enough. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still cold? Price action roll. Don't fall for big. Stripping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How do the market react? Fear and greed got a gap. Bridging the tokens and touching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies so savages. I know how crazy we are. Chain attraction, main attraction.